Less than a fortnight after the private sector held a meeting with the Senate to address the degenerating state of the economy, today they sat down with the top government officials to come up with solutions on stimulating economic growth. But after more than 8 hours of closed-door meeting, the government had no specific measures that it had put in place or proposed to boost the business environment that has lately been synonymous with massive layoffs and some companies even folding. Lillian Kiarie with those details.
Despite the government continually stating that the ease of doing business in the country continues to improve, the situation on the ground seems to be telling a different tale. From massive job losses to companies closing shops and other companies issuing profit warnings at the Nairobi Securities Exchange, the economic growth in the country seems to be of major concern. So dire is the situation that a high-level government meeting between the private sector stakeholders and government officials, which was chaired by Interior CS Fred Matiang'i, was convened at the Kenya School of Government. The meeting was set to bring forth resolutions on stimulating economic growth. After close to 8 hours, the closed-door meeting came to an end, but both the government and private sector neither disclosed the resolutions they had come up with, nor the action plans and timeframes they had committed to take to create a conducive business environment. They instead grazed on the issues ailing the sector and gave a blanket statement committing to look into these issues.
We have spent quite some time looking at the regulatory ecosystem in the country because business has raised very substantive questions about the bureaucracy around regulation and how it is strangling business. I am very, very grateful that a lot of discussion that has been happening on how we can affect and strengthen regulators in the country is beginning to now bear fruit.
Many times we've been saying there's been more imports coming into the country from all over the world and vis-a-vis our exports. So how can we stimulate our exports? And one of the things that we talked about is that we widen what we call Buy Kenya, Build Kenya.
Despite various reforms such as ease in paying taxes pegged on online filing and payment systems, investors in the country continue to decry the high cost of power, labor, and multiplicity of taxes as some of the factors which are working against them. For instance, a small trader selling snacks is not only required to have a business permit, but also to hold a food handling license and a fire license on top of various county taxes. Lack of harmonization of policies and government bureaucracy have also been cited as issues eating into businesses' profits.
How do we make Kenyan businesses more competitive? That means how do we make it easier for them to do business? How do they get the right people? How do they get the right skills? How do they get paid on time? How do they get access to the right markets?
If key economic barriers are fixed, the economic growth might jump from the current 5.7% and unemployment levels could be lowered. Lillian Kiarie, NTV.